Welcome to Built for This, the podcast where property meets purpose. I'm Talia Hugh.
And I'm Megan Rovers. Together we're here to unpack the real stories behind the people shaping the property industry. From bold first steps to career-defining moments and the life lessons they've built along the way.
If you're passionate about property, curious about the human side of success, or just looking to build something meaningful, you're in the right place.
So let's unpack it. Welcome to Built for This. Today we're joined by Grace Borg, Sales Department Manager at Ray White Bayside with over a decade in real estate.
From listing and selling to now leading a sales team, Grace shares the lessons she's learned managing different personalities, the rise of AI in the industry, and creating more space for female auctioneers.
It's an inspiring conversation with someone who's truly built for this. So let's unpack it. Hello and welcome, Grace. Thank you so much for joining our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute honour to be here today.
Thank you. Well, let's dive into where your property journey started. Let's start with personally, growing up, what did that look like? Was home always home? What did that look like? What did property mean for you as a kid?
Great question, because it truly does lead in from being a child. So I grew up in the northern suburbs. Went to 5 different primary schools because my parents were always picking one home a year to flip.
Wow.
They would buy the worst home in the best street, and then between mum and dad, they would do absolutely everything on it. They were connected enough to have, the plumber come and check, the electrician come and check, but dad just knew perfectionist and just knew exactly what he was doing. And so we grew up in Federation homes, Californian bungalows, Victorians. So that's what I'm used to. But we moved around a lot. And then when I was 12, mum and dad were like, we've had enough. We're going down to the holiday house in St. Leonard's, which they also built from the ground up. And we're going to retire there. So I was 12 when my parents pretty much retired. They're still down at the beach. We circle back every now and then to Geelong because mum's there. We've got investments there. So as much as I've been back and forth on my own journey, I always seem to come back to St. Leonard's, or I always seem to come back to Geelong. But that's where the true journey started. And I don't know if that's embedded in me because of that. My mother is an exceptional negotiator. As children, she knows how to bribe. She knows how to negotiate. My dad's just the handiwork. So
He does all the physical.
Oh, yeah, he's great. Perfectionist, handiwork. Mum does a lot of hard lifting as well. Admittedly, they did everything together. I'd never seen a tradesperson in any one of their renos. Everything was done from the ground up by them.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Are you handy because of that?
I am a little bit handy, so I can
that.
definitely put together an IKEA flat pack without...
Tick. That's as handy as you need to be. You can do that. You can do anything.
Sometimes it's back to front, and then I'm really struggling afterwards that I have to go back and undo it. But I kind of have a little bit of a mind where I can be handy if I need to.
And negotiation, you touched on that kind of in the household growing up, and you've got a very, very successful sales career that you've had and still have. Do you feel like some of that kind of gave you the foundation skills to kind of jump into real estate? And was there ever another career option for you but real estate?
Look, I always wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
Right? But that leads back into the negotiation with mum and dad. If you want fancy things, if you want to eat, Dunkaroos and Le Snacks and all the fancy stuff that other kids have in their lunchbox, you need to find the money to add to the shopping budget to buy it. Otherwise, you eat what you're given and you wear the second hand-me-downs op-shop clothing that you're given. So for me, from the age of 13, I was working on a local farm in St. Leonard's in their fruit shop, so weighing things and, just serving customers. Doing picking orders for all the local hotels and whatnot around the area that they would deliver to. So with mum and dad, it was a constant negotiation. So I wanted to do law school, and they were like, that's fine, you do law school, but you need to pay for the accommodation in Melbourne, and you need to work out the other job to pay for everything else because we're not giving you any money for that. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make this work, because everyone else I know that's gone to law school has a support network to get them through that 7-year time frame.
Long study.
I didn't end up giving myself time to study. So I managed Lapaketa in Geelong on Mallup Street when I was 17.
Wow.
They gave me 2 weeks off to study for VCE. I just made a pass. I was shattered. But what did you expect? Really, I had to drop out of maths methods, chemistry, all the subjects that were going to give you that higher enter. I dropped out of because I was so dedicated to my restaurant job that the spares I had, I could pick up extra shifts. So I was at this level of compromise where I want to be a lawyer, but I'm not giving it 100% to get there because I don't have that support network. So I somehow have to make it work. Anyway, I got into public relations, which I'm like, what am I going to do with this? It's so hard to get into that scope. So I never went to uni. I just dropped it and I fell into real estate naturally.
Which is pretty common.
Everyone falls into real estate. I don't think anyone wakes up, and maybe nowadays they do.
Yes.
Back then, it was like, right, I'm paying my utilities by colour. I need instant, like I need something that's going to give me instant money and good money. Or I've accidentally fallen into this because plan A didn't work and you find yourself being really good at something you never thought you could be good at. And so that was my journey. I fell into it for Barry Plant back in 2006.
And what was that role? What was your first role in real estate?
Well, I was the company's first ever guinea pig PA. So PAs, EAs, all that kind of support was not a thing. Like it just wasn't a thing back then. So I started off in South Barwon in Warm Ponds. So it was the Warm Ponds office. We slowly later on opened up a Belmont office and I was Nathan Ashton's personal assistant. And then from me being a PA, they started to then hire on more PAs. So I was there for 2 years, went out on my own briefly, wasn't ready. Like I was under the wing of Joyce Doherty back in the day, who I absolutely idolised, but I wasn't ready to go out on my own. I was 19, 20, not even 20, I don't think.
Wow.
And then I decided, well, I'm going overseas. So I just decided to go overseas. I did real estate in Malta.
Oh, wow.
So I did that for a little bit. Working holiday, and I picked the hardest. I don't know why. I remember my first day, I was lying on the bathroom floor. It was a 40-degree day. I was sweating, and I'm like, what am I doing? I need to now remember how to speak this language. I take people in my car to show them through properties because it's all different. It's a working holiday. I'm so stressed. Why do I do this to myself? So I ended up doing real estate over in Malta, travelled all around, ran restaurants and whatnot, then came back and opened up a restaurant on Packington Street, which a lot of the Geelong folk would know me for as being one of the co-owners at Sabroso. So did that for a little bit and then fell back into real estate with Michelle and Danny at Hayes Winkle.
What parallels can you draw between? Because it sounds like, I guess, real estate and restaurants have been kind of, always part of your life and a lot of your career. What parallels can you draw between the two roles or two jobs there?
I'm a natural leader. So I don't know if you're necessarily born with it. I think you need to have elements of fire within. Sometimes you don't recognise that they're in there until you have someone that puts you in a position or backs you or gives you that chance or sees something in you to be able to get you to understand or have that confidence that you can do this. Every role I've naturally taken has ended up in leadership. So I ran La Paqueta when I was 17. There were team members there that had been there for 4 or 5 years in their 30s. And I did inventory. I hosted their first wedding upstairs and they just let me do what I was naturally good at. They saw that and they didn't hold me back. So everything I've done, even in London on my working holidays, I started to run a B&I group at 6 a.m. on a Friday morning for Corny and Barrow, a leading wine bar in the Square Mile. So it just naturally, it happens. I don't know how it happens. And then it was Hayes Winkle as an assistant to Danny. Didn't want to leave Danny. I'm like, no, I'm happy being basic. And I say that with respect. I'm happy being basic. I'm a nobody at this point. I just assist, the lead agents and the directors. I'm okay with that. And again, that is not me. And it broke into a conversation over 24 hours saying, we've leased an office. You've got 24 hours to decide if you're going to be a director. We're not really giving you a choice to make a decision. I remember Michelle laughing, saying, no, it's this side of Christmas. It's not next year. You literally have 24 hours to decide if you're going to take the gig. And I did.
Wow.
Good on you.
And so it keeps falling into this pattern of leadership. So that's the common theme, is that I think I was born to lead. I'm not scared of it.
Let's talk about, because I guess that's a key kind of moment and I'm sure like a lot of people in real estate think, okay, well, I'm going to, start as an EA, be a sales agent and then become a director of an office. How was that for you, that journey? Obviously you worked incredibly hard for them to just basically be like, this is it, like this is you as the opportunity. What are some of the things that you learned? What are some of the, I guess, areas that, a lot of people, I guess, want that title? What does that look like for you now and whatnot?
I think coming into real estate, especially now, there's a warped perception of what you're stepping into, right? So for me, back then, real estate was a big deal. To get a job with a real estate office, it was hard. Now it seems to be easy. Back then, it was a privilege to be sided with someone who had a profile. Now it's like, well, I can skip between all these different directors and, I can pave my way so much easier. So back then I was building something for myself. I had to align myself with the people who I could pivot from. So I suppose my mindset was a little bit rare. A lot of hard work. I did not mind selling my soul for 3 to 5 years to get to where I am now. I also didn't think of it that way. So the mindset I go into everything with is that Lupicator job was the be all and end all. That was the best job in the world, and I was loyal to the owners who gave me the privilege. Then it went on to being an assistant for Nathan Ashton. He was the god. I did everything for him to the best of my ability because I was given a privilege. And the same stemmed on to Danny and Michelle. They did see something in me that I didn't think I had. So I'll be forever appreciative of their guidance. Confidence is something you need. And if you don't feel like you have that self-confidence, align yourself with people who can see it in you, because that is the key to you being able to propel. It's like a catalyst. Some people get stuck in a holding pattern. They don't have the confidence. They'll think of how lovely it would be to be that auctioneer. I idolise this auctioneer. I want to be the auctioneer. But I could never do that. I remember sitting at listing presentations with Danny sweating profusely because I'm listening to him dealing with these really hard vendors, and I'm just casually chiming in, not knowing the next thing that was going to come out of his mouth. And I'm like, geez, he's so good. He got the shift. They're agreeing with him. I could never do this. Like, this could never be me. Like, I just can't. The way I'm feeling now, I just can't do what he's doing. They saw the confidence in me. They ripped the Band-Aid off for me. You're not always going to be fortunate enough to have people that believe in you like that, but they saw my work ethic was always high. I compromised every home house session on a Saturday night because I had opens on a Sunday. And the rule was, if you want to go out, back it up. Don't come into work smelling like vodka. I wouldn't have seen Danny all week, and lo and behold, my first open home, he rocks up and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to catch me because I was out last night. And that was me at like 19 and 20. So you have to have a mindset, and in a sense, you've got to know your why. And my why was always to prove my worth. And so I found people who I could align myself with that would give me the opportunity. And lucky enough, I did pick the right people who ripped that Band-Aid off and gave me the opportunity. And I think sometimes when you think about things for too long and too much, you do get stuck. Years do pass you by. Just do it. Just do. Don't think, just do.
And that's a really good segue. And I wanted to also touch on, and if you've experienced this at all, being a woman in such a male-dominated industry, has that ever set you back or been a challenge for you at all? Or have you found that it's been a pretty good pathway for you as a woman?
I know it's challenging, but if you remain humble, it comes down to how you manage yourself and you manage people. I've always been good at reading a room, and I've always been good at reading people. It stems back into my inner child and traumas of, getting in trouble with mum, and she'll be holding that smack and not knowing when it was going to come. I was very hypervigilant. So I always could read people and read a room very, very well. So I would know who was the gorilla in the office. I would know when it was my turn to be the minion. Probably the wrong term to use, but I knew that that was my role. And I needed to prove my worth in that role. I would put my hand up and say, hey, I'll do your opens, I've got nothing on. Does anyone need letterbox drops? I'm available on a Sunday. So I knew that I needed to get attention in the right way. So out of respect, it has never been a challenge for me as a woman, because all the males I've sided myself with have respected me. And they've helped me grow. So it's understanding. It's not, we have a lot of recruits that come in now, they don't have the respect element, male or female, and they do not get very far, unfortunately. So you've got to know your place.
And just on that now, can we just dive into the role that you've got now? Because I feel like it's kind of brings everything together.
It does.
From the years of experience you've got. And I'd just love to hear that. And I've got about 20 other follow-up questions to this current role. So just tell us a little bit about that.
So I guess from Hayes Winkle, I was a director in that office. Never really got the opportunity to list and sell without having business items pop up. So that grew from one office to 2 offices to a side business that I also ran for them, Ballerine Getaways Holiday Letting. So I was doing a lot, and I was driving from Brighton back and forth for about 3 years. And it took me bringing an outsider in. So my partner Lee at the time was at Buxton, Hampton East, and I said, we're opening up Armstrong Creek. Be a director. Fill those shoes. Put it on your resume. It doesn't matter if it lasts 12 months, 2 years, 10 years, try it. So he took that leap of faith. And then him coming in, sort of seeing the difference between Melbourne and Geelong, the difference in culture, the difference in how things were run, and our travel. He asked a simple question and said, look, where's home? I said, Bayside. I love Bayside. I want to be in Bayside. He's like, well, why are we driving 3 hours round trip to come into an organisation which I feel like you've outgrown? And I'm like, but what would I do there? I haven't had a resume in 10 years. Like, are you crazy? Like, I can't leave Danny and Michelle. They're my family. He's like, but there's more to that. You need to think of your life, and is the commute worth it? Like, where do you want to be and what do you want to do? And no one's ever questioned me in that light. I've always just done what I knew I needed to do with the people I've always done it with. So I thought to myself, he makes a really good point. He is now in the picture, so I need to also take on board what he's thinking and feeling. And together that January we resigned, and it was really, really, really hard. And then I met up with a recruitment friend who does pretty much 90% of all the recruitment in Melbourne for real estate. And she said, don't worry about it. You don't need a resume. You are your own resume. She's like, just resign. I'll look after you. Within that week, I had 5 CEO meetings, and I'd placed myself with Ray White by the end of the week. And I always wanted to be a sales manager. I was pretty much doing it over at Hayeswinkle. We just didn't have a title for it. Sales managers are not big in Geelong. It is an extra luxury expense that most offices just don't see the value for. So there was never going to be that position for me there anyway. And Lee said, well, if that's what you want to do, go find it. So I met up with the crew at Ray White Bayside, was Cheltenham now Bayside, and they had this amazing position solely for a sales manager. And I thought, yeah, this is what I want to do. I don't want to list and sell. I've been doing that for 10 years in Geelong. It will break me to do it here because I built that from the ground up. It's a bit heartbreaking to try and do it in a new patch. So let me help others exceed and let me bring the best out of them. So I started with a group we had 12 agents at the time. We're now, under my belt, I've got 26 that I manage, 11 lead agents, and then all their support, EAs, PAs, and whatnot. So it is a really good space for me because I've got amazing support. The platform at Ray White is, in its entirety, is just fantastic. I do a lot of work with corporate as well. I do a lot of, again, naturally, just overextending because I want to meet people. I want to network. I want to know how their systems and programs work because if I'm giving them so much hours out of my day, I want to be invested 100%. So they have the platform. They believe in me. They believed in me from the first week I started. So again, it's aligning yourself with those that can help you pivot. And Mark Guthrie, Kyle Dorman, Kevin Choksey, from the get-go, like, you do your thing, babe. It's all on you. And they never restricted me. They don't clip wings. It's amazing. So I was able to build a really good connection with my lead agents, hiring and, helping them grow their team. That's fulfilling for me. Juggling lots of different personalities, delivering and teaching in 10 different ways because each person interprets differently has been my growth. So I came in that thinking, yeah, I've got this. But boy, have I learned over the last 2.5, 3 years to harness what I'm thinking, to harness what I want to say, not to fire off an email because that's what we did. Previously it was a very different management style, and the growth has been amazing. It's almost been like a bit of an apprenticeship as well. So you're constantly learning and growing on the job. So I love my team. I love the space. I love where we're going. We're a really high-performing office. We're number 3 in VicTaz out of 104 offices. Wow. So we're striving at the moment to just benchmark. Every time we get to somewhere good, we need to go better, and I love that growth. So I think I'm definitely in the right place. I thoroughly enjoy the brand, and because it opens doors. And I know my future trajectory is going to change. And I won't be in this position forever, but all the good work I'm doing now, all the people I'm meeting now is just going to lead to more doors opening. And this lifestyle by design that I have been creating for over a decade, it will just continue. And so that is my why in all of this. And I believe the place that I am in now, it's challenging. It really is challenging. But the growth is why I do it. So I'm learning as well as empowering.
You go, Mace.
No, you go.
I know she'll go on a tangent.
Wind me up and watch me go about this.
I was going to touch, because that's, incredible. And with the sales manager type role, I can imagine that would be so extremely difficult. And like you said, is there any advice that you would give to new agents coming into the real estate industry? What would that advice be?
This is a hard one because I'm brutal in this space.
Yeah.
Look yourself in the mirror, ask what your why is, and there is no plan B. Plan B attack. If you have a plan B, don't bother approaching us. I understand if you're brand new and you want to have a bit of a taste of what the industry is like. I get that. I'm all for that. But if you're someone that wants to make it work, don't come into this thinking it's all lattes, beautiful suits. I'm going to be selling a property in my first week. Get some insight, talk to people, listen to podcasts, go to open homes, understand what you're really stepping into, because a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of investment goes into growing new people. I'm all for growing someone who wants to be here. Like Michaela Miller, a classic example. I sold her property. She wasn't in real estate. She was working for a Big Four down in Ocean Grove. And she followed me. She followed me in the supermarket. She knew everything about me. That's why she hired me for her agent. After I sold her property, she was like, yep, the interaction was exactly what I was expecting it to be. Then she approached me for a job. I didn't have one, but there was a synergy there. And I said, I'm going to give this gal a shot. She sold her soul to me for 3 years. I said, if you sell your soul to me, I promise it will pay dividends tenfold. You want the beautiful $1 million house, you're going to get it. Mm-hmm. And she achieved everything, but she listened and she did the hard yards. She never had a plan B. I was her plan A, my vision was her plan A, and she stuck to it despite how many times she probably didn't want to come into work, despite how many disputes we had and how many disagreements we had. She was loyal, she remained respectful, and she came in with an open mind. If you don't have an open mind and you're not teachable, don't even bother picking up the phone. Like, just don't bother. Don't have an ego about you, be humble. Let that come when your journey when your journey grows. There's a time and a place for everything. So I find it really challenging in that space because everyone comes in with an ego. Mm-hmm. Whether they've been at a different firm and they want to jump into ours because we've got a fantastic culture. So that's our recruitment hook is our culture because we're so good. It's like a family. Everyone wants to come and join Ray White Bayside Group because we do things differently. Mm-hmm. And our CEO and our managing director, they're non-compete. So they purely exist to manage the people.
Yeah.
And then you've got a luxury item like me. That's a support network for all the agents 24/7. Mm-hmm. So we do have a lot of recruitment meetings and agents wanting to join, whether they're entry level or they're not happy at other agencies. But it just comes down to those few key things that I mentioned. Just remove the ego. Start from the ground up. Be open, be teachable, and then you will have a chance at making it. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen on the first week. Not even going to happen for you in the first year unless you're a super freak. Yeah. I say that with respect.
I think Tom Panos said that in the podcast episode that he did with us. It's like, most things you have to either go to uni for or, and especially relevant like salary expectations, either go to uni for or do an apprenticeship for. And sometimes we even see like people coming in expecting to, sell 20, 30 houses in the first year, and amazing if they can, but the reality is not necessarily there. And it is such a long-term game. Like, the people that you meet today, you need to keep them on your side for 5 years, 10 years, and you might get something. Then it's not 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You've got to, it's not, they're not purchasing a microwave. Exactly. They're not going to buy it and walk out the door.
Exactly.
It's going to be a long-term relationship you need to build.
And it's instant gratification. So if you know within yourself that you are someone that thrives of instant gratification, you're going to struggle.
It's not for you, yeah.
You're going to struggle because this is all about earning your stripes and it's the hard yards. You don't want to be moving in real estate as well. So aligning yourself with the right brand and the right profile is going to grow you. I latched on to Danny for dear life because he profiled me. Mm-hmm. And he was the reason why I grew so rapidly. So put yourself with an agent for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. It's this race to be a lead agent. I'm like, why? You're 20. Where are you going so quickly? Yeah. Like, what's the rush? I don't understand. So true. Do it properly. Do you realise how many things have to be learnt on the job? I can't teach you 3/4 of this job out of a textbook. You're constantly climbing and then you realise you've climbed this mountain but you're just at the base of the next. You have to be okay with that. I'm still climbing. I feel like I've climbed my mountain 100 times and I reach the base of another mountain. I'm like, okay, I've got to climb this one now.
Fantastic.
Okay, when do these mountains stop? They probably don't, and that's the great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested now in the role that you're working in, I guess about your training style and your leadership style, because like we look at it as like there's a few different, I guess, one-liners like say what I do, not do what I say, and all those types of things. And obviously you've probably seen a lot of the scenarios yourself. So as you said, like I can tell you what might happen or it might happen to you, and then I can guide you through it. So what does, I guess, if someone's, in their first year, what does that look like when they come and work under you? And what are some of the things that you're trying to, I guess, teach them, or how do you go about that?
So I guess for my position, I have everything I'm going to ask someone to do in training, I have done. So whilst I might not be listing and selling actively currently because my role has changed, it doesn't mean I haven't done it. I haven't walked that path. The prospecting path's the big one. I prospected and prospected and prospected for years. There's a story about buying the girls snow boots because we had to get up in the middle of winter. There are no sidewalks or footpaths in Clifton Springs, and we're literally walking in mud. We would get up so early in the morning with wet grass that the Nike ticks would wear off our shoes within the first 2 weeks. But we did it because we were trying to break into a marketplace. So the fortunate thing is my managerial style would have changed. So being at Hayes Winkle is very different to now being a manager here at Bayside, because my sole role is people. So I have the time and I have the leisure, and I guess you're dealing with all walks of life at all different ages. So there is a lot of time. I run a training academy, so anyone that comes on board gets a full induction, which I believe is super important. So that first experience is going to be, I think, what helps with your retention later on down the track. So we have a training academy where we break things up in blocks. What is prospecting? We show you how to do it. There's lots of support. There's time in their own teams, but then there's a lot of one-on-one time with me. And I like to work out. So we're very into psychometric testing and working out what the personality is of every person that we recruit, so I know how to best manage them. Because the message I'm trying to get across to one person is I have to deliver it very differently to the next. So I will always ask, how do you like to learn? Are you a visual learner? Are you on the job? Do you want to sit with me for a week and watch how I do this, that and the other? So I take the time to find out what type of learner they are, try to work out their why. You get a pretty good picture if they're going to last or not within that first 3 months, because it is a grueling job when you're first starting. Personality and attitude above all, is going to be the reason why I invest more or little in you. Because if I get you from the get-go and you're green and you want to learn everything about real estate but you're not teachable, we're going to butt heads. So I will push back. I have a really good relationship with my academy members where I can be very, very real with them. I can pull them up, but I've instilled the trust and respect first. So I can have pretty brutal conversations without offending anyone, because they respect and trust me and they understand my sole purpose is for them. So I've heard my academy members say to new academy recruits, she's going to be your best friend, but she's also going to be your worst enemy, but that's okay. Like if you get told off by Grace, it's okay. She's not being mean. She exists for us. She's here for us. So having that buy-in and creating that ecosystem is so incredibly important for my managerial style, because if I don't have their respect and I don't have their trust, how am I possibly going to get them to believe what I'm telling them is the path for them? So there's a whole lot of work going in, even the lead agents, gaining their trust. They come with ego, they're high performers, gaining their trust. I've been there almost 3 years, and it's only just been recently I've managed to get into the inner sanctum with them. So now I can have head-to-heads with them, and we leave knowing that we're good. There's no grudges held. It doesn't pour into next week. There's none of that. And managing so many different personalities and so many different dramas and putting out so many different fires for so many different teams, you have to remain composed. I can't take that home with me. I can't then tarnish the next conversation I have with the next person because of the conversation I've just had. So it's a balancing act of managing your own emotions, your composure, being the bigger person, and trying to diffuse, teach, grow. It all has to, fall hand in hand somehow. It is quite complex.
It is. It is. And like you've summarised it beautifully there. And I think what I guess modern leadership to me is now more so what you've kind of said. It's not someone up the top and everyone listen to me. It's hang on, let's create that mutual respect. Let's build that trust, and I'm actually here for you. So let's work out how this message is going to get delivered and how it's going to land, because it's just ultimately going to get the best outcome for everyone. Like obviously the school teacher and the kids, like everyone learns the same way at school, but I think once you get out into the real world to a certain degree, leaders have to be a little bit more adaptable now. What, I guess, in terms of tech and AI and those types of things, what's that space looking like for your role at the moment? What are some of your predictions, thoughts on that?
We love it. So we were onto AI before it was even a thing. Luckily enough, I work with a really good team. Kevin Choxey's right into all of this stuff. The Ray White Group have spent almost 30 million on tech in this last year. So we're building something called Nurture Cloud. It's a Ray White product at the moment, and it is a highly intuitive prospecting CRM, which I'm heavily a part of. So we probably have every subscription under the sun that you can think of. We test, we trial, we pilot everything. We're a main pilot office for Nurture Cloud. So we test and trial everything that they roll out. I'm a big believer in just getting your hands dirty, being amongst it, and knowledge is power. So we do use a lot of AI. We do think it is going to be the way forward. And I think if you're an agency that isn't looking into this, you will be left behind. Great saying of Danny Hayes. It's not the big that eats the small. It's the fast that eats the slow. And so you need to be ahead of your A game, because your competitor is going to pick up and then they're going to be ahead of you. So Nurture Cloud's a very exciting space. No other agency has it unless you're amongst the Ray White Group, and it does so many amazing things and a lot of AI plugins. And we use AI just in our, we've got a media team, we've got a content team. There's a lot of AI that goes into making our short reels. We're heavy on social presence. So we are, our office in particular, I can't speak for every Ray White office, but our office in particular is huge on technology and AI. So we're going to, anything new that comes along, we will investigate it. We'll see if it's for us. We'll trial it. We'll put the time, money and investment into it, see if it works. But at least we're across it.
And how do you feel that you'll future-proof yourselves with that, in terms of, I guess, setting you apart when AI does probably take over a lot more? And, there's talks of it taking over real estate in general. You can go to an online, like, how do you feel that you can keep differentiating yourself from AI?
Well, honestly, it can't really ever take over that human presence.
Yeah.
When I worked for Flight Centre many years ago, we were also scared that AI was going to replace that in-house experience, because the web was doing many things and everyone had everything at a click of their fingertips, and they didn't need us. Has Flight Centre closed down? They haven't.
They've just adapted.
That human interaction is always going to be required, and in real estate, you need that. You can't replace that live negotiation. You can't replace that auction space. We have during COVID. But nothing's ever going to take away that interaction, that human interaction. It's such an emotional job. I don't think AI can replace the emotion completely. It'll probably get to a point where it does a very good job at assisting, enabling us to be quicker, enabling us to be better. But I think it's going to be many years to come before it actually replaces an agent in a living room. I just don't think it's a thing at this point.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we've touched on a couple of times, just the emotion of being a real estate agent, because I think there's probably a couple levels to this. Like, there's obviously the selling sunsets kind of perception of maybe what real estate looks like. Then there's, the fast cars, nice suits, all those types of things. But I guess what we're trying to make so many more people aware of is just the emotional toll I'll use, or the emotional roller coaster that sometimes real estate agents are on. And that we're not just door openers and deal facilitators. There is kind of this element behind where you're dealing with circumstances that are challenging for many of reasons. How are some of the ways that you've kind of learnt to deal with the emotional roller coaster of real estate, both when you're selling and now as a leader?
So I guess when you're selling, you're fully 100% investing in your clients. So if it's at the appraisal, you're investing your time into them, right? You're with them on that journey. When you're dealing with buyers, first home buyers, they've got their own emotions. It might be a deceased estate. It might be a divorce. You are continuously taking on, if you're an empath in this job, like, good luck to you. You got to learn how to use your crystals and cleanse, because it will take the better of you. You're constantly taking on people's energies, and you're living in their life for that brief 4 weeks. And when things go bad, you're on that journey with them. When things are great, you're on that journey with them. So you need to be able to balance that. And that's why I particularly think women are so strong in the industry, because I think we have something else inbuilt within us. We've got a different compassion, and we are so relatable, but we in turn do take on so much more of that emotion and that energy. With my current role, it's balancing the emotions and energies of the sales agents. So it is their interaction with that client, and whatever, they might be having a good day or a bad day, and then I'm on the back end coaching them on, okay, care but don't care too much. You are here to do a job. I understand that you're getting so invested, but you are their real estate agent. Let's look at what they need from you right now to then help them breathe a little easier. So it's still emotional, and you're still dealing with all the personalities. Sometimes it's actually worse, because if you're having blow-ups in offices, it's, okay, I've got to talk to this person. I'm going to calm them down. Then you have to get on the phone, talk to the other person, calm them down. This is normally all happening after hours. It could be as small as integrating a new team member into a team of 3, and it's just not working. And you're coaching them, and you're trying to make the new person feel at home. You're then trying to coach the lead agent into being more intuitive, taking them out for coffee, making sure their needs are met. It's different, but it's equally as, I'm not going to use the word draining, but it's equally the same overload.
Yeah.
Real estate is just emotional. It doesn't matter which way you strip it. I mean, commercial real estate might not be as emotional, but your everyday residential real estate, whether it's in the office or it's out working with your clients, it's emotional in each respect.
Couldn't agree more. And I think it's one of the things that is completely underrated in the role, or not spoken about enough. And I think maybe COVID was something that kind of helped the industry realise this a little bit more about, if people weren't coming into the office, how people are then coping with the emotions of real estate. And I know that our office especially has kind of spent a lot more time and effort and training on how to make sure that we're not emotionally taking too much of the baggage home with us as well, and remembering what our role is as the agent in that as well. Now, it's been a lot about your career. I'd just like to ask a couple of questions. Obviously, not obviously, but what we find often is people who are in real estate, in the property sector, love property, and then they are in property every day, and then at home, everything's kind of about property and the investments and assets and those types of things. Yep. I'd like to just touch on your personal property journey. Have you taken on the flipping strategy of your parents, investments, rent vesting? What does it look like, and what does property mean to you personally?
So naturally, yes. I do have a portfolio which I've carried for a little while on my own that I am now developing. So I do believe in bricks and mortar, and I do believe that, for me, I've always wanted to retire at 40. Now, how was I going to fast track that in this day and age? It's so hard for even, our first home buyers to buy a house and survive with one mortgage. So I really had to think about creatively how I was going to do this. Real estate was my path forward. So what I have today isn't possible without the career I've had and continue to have. So yes, naturally I do have properties. I'm developing 2 at the moment, and I've got another one by the beach that I'll also split into 2 and develop. Funnily enough, I rent because I have to in Bayside at this point until the developments are done. My partner's also got investment properties, so naturally this is always going to be something that we enjoy doing. I've had Airbnbs. One of my investment properties I did buy through Armstrong Real Estate, which was a very pleasant experience through Sammy. So I'll always have property. I have a keen interest in it. You're privy to all the market trends. You're privy to when not to. But I will say shares has now got my interest. So I think that is also something I equally want to get involved in. I think that there's major dividends to be paid from learning a little bit about that space. But at the moment, busy just developing the 2 properties that I've got at the moment, which then I don't know if I'll keep them or if I'll sell them. It depends what the next move is.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've had some financial advisors and people chatting about property and shares and how to diversify and all those types of things. And I think, we love property because of the leverage, so using the bank's money to make more money, which is
Correct.
always fun.
Make it work for you.
Yeah. And it sounds like, you know, with the developments at the moment, you've seen an opportunity a few years ago with an ideal site, and now you're doing that build, and yeah, that's really exciting. How's that going for you, the development side? Are you building at the moment, currently under construction?
Yeah, so all of my investments are, well, I've got one in Armstrong Creek and I've got 3 in St Leonards. Obviously, again, the ties to St Leonards. It's a beautiful Sleepy Hollow. It'll be the peninsula in time to come. I've got a property in my mum and dad's street, which was just a must. They live just a street on a hill by the bay, so unobstructed. So I'm like, I always wanted to buy something there, and I was fortunate enough for an opportunity to come along. So that's my last retirement development. The 2 that I'm building now I'll probably sell them. If I can keep one would be great, but I do want to buy a property in Bayside or on the peninsula, like Mornington or Mount Eliza, and have a family home set up there. But the building has been fine so far.
Good.
Look, I'm a control freak, but I pick my battles. I know nothing about building. So I've hired a builder to go and check absolutely every stage for me. He reports back to me with a full report, picks any corners they've cut. They then have to fix it. He then goes and re-inspects. Beautiful. Like, I don't actually have to worry. So it hasn't been stressful because I have engaged others to take that stress away from me, because I knew it's not my strong point, right? My parents do live around the corner, so they check up regularly for me, but that's going really well because we want to start the next one. So I can't complain too much. They've been great to date.
That's awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
So good.
Well done.
Yeah, it's good. I can't wait to see the finished product. I'm probably not going to want to sell it, but I've promised myself that will be my first auction. So I want to auction off my first property and that be my first auction. So I'm hoping that I can still stick to that and not get too emotionally involved.
So you're going to auction it?
I would like to, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would like to.
I guess you're probably going to be nervous sitting inside, so you may as well be
Seriously,
nervous
just-
standing outside.
And know what's happening straight away.
Also, I might change my mind last minute, but we'll see. I think being St Leonard's and knowing so much and having such an emotional attachment to it, I think it would make the perfect grounds for a great auction. So we'll see.
I'd love to also quickly touch on, before we do finish up, auctioneering.
Yep.
You won an award, correct me if I'm wrong?
No, I was a finalist for the Ray White novice auctioneering space. So I was a finalist, top 8 there, and then I went on to do REIB and a finalist there as well. We had our awards last night. I did not win this year, but
Look, I did get the email this morning. I quickly scrolled through to see if there was anything. Yeah, well done though, on being a
amazing.
finalist. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, look, it's really tough space, but just rip the Band-Aid off and try it. And that is a space that has really caught my interest, heavily male-dominated space still. We're more fortunate in Victoria. I think it's a lot harder for the women in other states like, say, Sydney, Queensland. It is a lot harder. Here, it's a lot easier to, make your path. Yeah. Incredibly blessed to have an office that has amazing auctioneers in it and have a huge network with the top auctioneers. So from a space of learning, from a space of performing, I've got the platform, I've got the people, I just need to apply myself. So it's the only thing in my career out of 14 years I have not done, because I have been too nervous to do it. Again, I found someone, and I will mention his name, Greg Bryden from Apollo Auctions, just kind of pushed me into it. Kevin Choxey wouldn't let me out of the Ray White. I saw the email pop up and I'm like, I'd love to, but delete. Like, I'm a sales manager. What am I thinking? Resurfaced in 5 minutes? Kevin, I think you should do this. And I'm like, I'm not going to get out of it. So I have to thank those two heavily. And obviously my partner Lee, because he has helped with all the training, all the numbers. I think I've driven him crazy. He's an auctioneer himself as well, so it's been good to train with him. But I've got incredible people around me, so I will pursue it. It is daunting. I haven't gotten on the street yet, but I will. And I think it's going to be a space that I will obsess over. So I'm very, very excited to see where that takes me. And especially just to prove it to women. Like, Ray White does an auctioneering academy for women, which is fantastic. No other I don't think any other agency does that. And I really want to be a part of that, just to show women that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And just because we do have a biological clock ticking, it doesn't mean we can't have it all. So I really want to be that person that will prove in time to come, I can have it all in the way that I want it on my terms. And it is doable for everyone. So that is the fire that drives me, and all these doors that will continue opening, it is going to be to prove that absolute point. You can do it all. You can have it all.
I think you'll be unreal when you get out
You
there on the
absolutely
street. Yeah,
will.
I think you'll absolutely smash
Good
it.
on you.
So, just talk me through at home. You're sitting on one end of the table, Lee's on the other. You're throwing, he's bidding.
Absolutely.
Love that.
When I pick something up, it's not by halves. So I got not pushed into the competition, but Kevin was like, just do it. It's gonna, if anything, it's going to shape the way you deal with people. It's going to shape everything about you. So even if you don't win, don't go in thinking you're going to win. Just go in and learn what it can teach you. Take away from that. I'm very competitive, so I was like, no, I need to win this now. I said, I have to win. And obviously, the way the comps work, for Ray White, you can have called up to 10 street auctions and still compete with someone who's never called one or never done anything in the space. REIV, I think it's up to 20 auctions that you can have called to then still compete. So I've not had any street experience whatsoever. I can set them up really well. I'm there every Saturday, but I've never been the auctioneer. So you're going up against quite literally novice green that have never done an auction and others that have called 10. So that was a little bit daunting, but it was just so amazing to be able to throw yourself into it. But poor Lee, on the other hand, it's like, okay, I have to get my spiel right. I want to learn the rules off by heart. I have to learn my spiels up till 4 a.m. practicing. I'm like, okay, Eleanor Curry was kind enough to reach out. She won REIV, I think it was 2023, and she sent me her video and she was giving me tips and she was helping me, and I memorized her whole bidding sequence. And I'm like, right, I want to see where she stumbled. I want to see how she recovered. I need to copy that. I need to get really good at the numbers. So anyone who knows me, numbers is not my strong point. So especially being on display, having to count in front of judges and a whole room of people that you don't know, it was almost like I have to do that because I know on the street it won't be any harder. So I need to do this. But yeah, Lee did cop it. He was up till all hours of the morning.
Good on you,
Chat
Lee.
GPT, fantastic. It gives you bidding scripts. I'm like, okay, new bidding script. This is my reserve. This is where I need the opening bid. Just make it hard. Let's do 7.5. Let's do 12.5. Let's do 2.5. It's like, you're not going to get this on the street. I'm like, I don't care. I need to be prepared. So he's a really good sport. I drove him absolutely mental, but he was really supportive in helping me with all of the training.
That's awesome.
And well done. Kudos to
Thank
you for getting out of your comfort zone to do that, because I can imagine I'm similar. We had actually a meeting the other day and everyone's like, so who's going to be doing auctioning? And I was just like, I'm not going to say no because I'm like, I need to do it, similar to you. To even just put myself out there and learn a new skill, see what happens with it.
Just do it. Honestly, rip the Band-Aid off and do it. I didn't know anything when I stepped foot into there was 6 training sessions before the comp for the Ray White Novice Auctioneering Awards, and Jeremy Tyrrell, amazing. He was holding the classes with Valentina Parra. These are all fantastic people within the Ray White corporate network. And there's a lot of support there, and they had set it up beautifully. And that 6 weeks, we came in and I didn't, even though I'd watched it 100 times, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know the structure. I knew nothing. So to see where you are from week 1 to week 6 before the heats and then into a final and then straight into REIV, it's amazing how much your brain can learn, even the mental math. So my math is actually a lot sharper. It's a lot quicker. And I'm dealing with really big numbers and I'm actually coping.
Yeah.
I sold both of the properties for the comp at the right price and I got through it. I did drop bids, but it's how you recover.
Yeah.
So just the experience in itself, like Kevin mentioned and like Greg mentioned, it's going to shape you. So even though you might not be a finalist or you might not be a winner, it's going to change your career ultimately. And if you do want to be a lead agent on your own, I do believe auctioneering and being an attraction agent by way of auctioneering is definitely the way to go. And there's not enough females that do it. Michelle Winkle is still the only name in Geelong that comes to mind for a leading auctioneer. Angela Lamanis in my office is the only name that comes to mind in Bayside. There's such an exciting niche place for a woman to rise and shine with the men. And that's what's so exciting. That's why I want to do it. I honestly just want to be like, yeah, I was that gal that did it, and I want to empower all the other girls that think that they can't, but they so can.
Yes.
So that's you.
That's you, Talia.
Thank you.
That is you, Talia. You got to get out there and do it. So I'm going to be your Kevin.
Perfect.
And you cannot now turn around and not do it.
Okay, great. Pull me to it. Oh no,
I'll see you at
it's being
REIV.
recorded,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You
but-
weren't going to do a podcast, and now you're doing podcasts,
Well, exactly.
so you can
and
do
that's-
anything.
I said to you earlier before this, not getting out of your comfort zone, you're just going to sit there. And I actually thought the same thing. I'm like, there's not enough female auctioneers. Well, Michelle, like you said, in Geelong. So I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Diamonds form under pressure. Everything great forms under pressure. It's having that self-confidence and having the support. So you obviously have the support around you. Now back yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Love that. Thank you so much, Grace.
Oh,
There was
it's been
so
a
much
pleasure.
that we covered off there. We would love to just finish the episode with some rapid fire questions for you.
Go for it.
The first one is favourite holiday destination.
Malta.
Yes.
Absolutely Malta, hands down.
So every time I've gone to Europe, I've gone, Malta, but for some reason I've just never been, but it's always somewhere I want to go. So
Yep, have a love affair with that place, and I will, maybe one day end up living down there.
Amazing.
Incredible. Pizza or pasta?
Pasta,
Nice.
hands down.
Even after La Paqueta? Did La Paqueta do
true.
pasta?
Yep.
Yeah. La
there you go.
Paqueta was the best.
We ate it I was there for 4 years. We ate it every day, breakfast, lunch and dinner. I was pulling like 80-hour weeks. So I was eating there every day. I smelt like pizza. I smelt like pasta. I couldn't get it out of my hair, and still to this day I love it.
So good.
Physical book or audio book?
Physical book. Can't stand an audio. I don't like the iPad. I'm not Kindle. I'm not anything. I have to have the book. I like to highlight words that I don't know what they mean, so to grow my vocabulary. So I need to have the physical book.
Love that. Thank you so much for joining us today, Grace.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.